Hello, the Big D is here with some big and frankly should have happened a long time ago news from Los Angeles today. Before I tell you about the news coming from Chargers Land, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Supports YouTube page. See all my videos, UFC 296 already online, so you can see it there. And with the Big D podcast, you can always check us out, Spotify and Apple. So obviously, Thursday, the great thing about a standalone game is you can see without any bias whether your team is really good or really bad. The bad thing is everybody is watching said performance, and last night may have been the worst performance I've ever seen a Charger team put on. With the Las Vegas Raiders embarrassing the Bolts 63-21. Las Vegas led 42-0 at halftime. When have you ever seen a Georgia team trail 42-0 halftime? Not off the top of my head. And recently, in the last 20 minutes or so, the Chargers have fired head coach Brandon Staley and general manager Tom Telesco. And frankly, it's about bleeping time the Chargers fired Brandon Staley, because I think back when the Chargers hired Brandon Staley, like, okay, coach with Sean McVay, but he's a defensive coach. And the Chargers have got one of the league's most emerging quarterbacks in Justin Herbert. That seemed odd, especially with all these young offensive minds coming. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. Even now with Mike McDaniel in Miami, or Matt LaFleur, or even older offensive minds, Andy Reid, Shane Scheich in Indianapolis, Doug Peterson. Brandon Staley just didn't fit, and the Chargers have been a big disappointment. I mean, how Brandon Staley kept his job after blowing a 27-0 playoff lead to my Jags is the question, but Brandon Staley did not fit. Called defense, but to be honest with you, the Chargers just couldn't stop a nosebleed. I mean, it's been bad for a while, and it's getting worse. I mean, I picked the Chargers to win the AFC this year, and I sincerely regret that. But, Los Angeles has wasted Justin Herbert's first 3 or 4 years in the NFL. I mean, they've given him crappy head coaches and wasted all these guys. I mean, the Chargers might as well be New England in terms of drafting wide receivers. Drafted Quentin Johnson, and I'm not even sure he's like a top 5 receiver on the Bolts right now. Not right now. It's Justin Herbert throwing to Keenan Allen and whatever's left of Austin Eckler, because he looks large. Mike Williams is never healthy. And defensively, the Chargers couldn't stop the nosebleed. I think LA's got the most salary spent on defense, and that's bad. J.C. Jackson was a disaster. Derwin James is getting more penalties than most guys. He can't cover a fly. I mean, if not for Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa sacking the other team's quarterback, the Chargers are bad defensively. And why the Chargers didn't get an offensive line, get one of these young coaches. I think a couple years ago, the Chargers could have gotten Brian Dable. Before we got the New York job. And we've seen what Brian Dable's done with Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones. What would he do with Justin Herbert? It's embarrassing what's happened, because the Chargers have been a mess of despair the last 20 years. I mean, ever since firing Marty Schottenheimer after he went 14-2. I mean, North Turner, Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, Brandon Staley have gone nowhere. I mean, what's the term? Chargering? The Chargers are charging to a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Who would think that a team I thought could win the Super Bowl may end up with top 5 pick? But Brandon Staley should have been relieved of his duties last year. He lasted one more year. Lasted 14 games this year, so he lasted 14 more games than I thought he should. And this seems bad. This seems bad. Now, the good news for the Chargers is they've got a really good top 5 quarterback in the league, Justin Herbert. A really good number 1 in Keenan Allen, maybe past his prime. A really young emerging left tackle in Slater, and some guys on defense. Now, the Chargers face big-time salary cap issues. I mean, everyone's seen the Saints in quote-unquote salary cap hell. Well, the Chargers aren't fall behind. In fact, according to Spot Track, the Chargers are $45 million over the projected 2024 salary cap if it's a $240 million cap next year. So the Chargers are going to have to jettison a few pieces, but good news for them. The 2 areas the Chargers don't need are available in this draft: quarterback and left tackle. So the Chargers don't need to take a quarterback, don't need to take a left tackle. But Derwin James might be playing his last few games with the Chargers. Who knows if Corey Linsley be back? Austin Eckler might be gone. Mike Williams might be gone. Heck, some of those defensive players, Bosa could be gone if he's not right off the foot injury. But there's a lot to like. I mean, great quarterback, great stadium, great weather in LA. I mean, who would be interested in this job? Who should the Chargers be interested in? There's one name. There's one name the Chargers should get, and it's Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh's won San Diego, Stanford, the San Francisco 49ers, and Michigan. Harbaugh played in the NFL. And Harbaugh is a leader of men. You know, Jim Harbaugh's teams might lose, but he's not his teams aren't quitting. The Chargers flat quit last night. The Chargers didn't want to be there. I mean, teams might get blown out. New York against Dallas twice. But the Giants didn't quit on Brian Daboll. They just didn't have enough talent against the Cowboys. The Broncos against Miami, but Broncos made some moves and now look like a genuine playoff team. Right now, the Chargers are bad. Quitting could end up a top 3 or 4 pick, but they get Jim Harbaugh. I think this is a team that needs a fundamental change, needs a kick in the you-know-what. Because the Chargers have been like everybody's team, is this the year the Chargers finally stop charging and make a deep playoff run? Well, Dan Fouts never played in a Super Bowl. Philip Rivers played in one AFC Championship game with a torn ACL. Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. That's not good with one guy who's in the Hall of Fame, one guy who may be in the Hall of Fame, and a top 3 or 4 quarterback. Plus, Herbert's contract kicks in 25, so Chargers will be a fun team to watch. I mean, could they potentially get another 1 or 2 for that a top 4 or 5 pick? Because you think there will be several teams looking at linemen, quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. So LA finally firing Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco today. Actually, a little surprised Telesco was fired because I think Telesco's done a really good job in LA, but maybe the Spanos family should have fired Brandon Staley last year and then get and then maybe drafted Jordan Addison or who's the kid with the Ravens, Zay Flowers, because both of them look like they could play. So, big news from Southern California tonight. If you lose 63-21 to one of your AFC West foes, you're probably not last. So Staley, Telesco going with the Chargers. So tuning in Friday afternoon, see all the Christmas decorations here. So it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.